So a good friend a while back mentioned this AAMVA, and I just haven't had time to get to look at it because as of lately, I've been studying positive law, okay? And there's only 27 actual titles of the USC that are positive law. But this evening, Brian Parker had posted the AAMVA again. The gentleman that I heard it from the first time was not Brian Parker. It was another guy out of another group. However, so well, screw it. Let's do a little change of venue, a little change of topic, and go look at what these gentlemen have discovered. And you are not going to believe the shit that is in this. So let's just start out first by what the AAMVA is. It's the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. Okay, that's the AAMVA. All right, and everybody I've been talking to, I've been telling them, hey, hit up the DMV and ask them if you're required by law to register your private household consumer good. Of course, the answer is always no. But as I delve into the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administration, one, I just want to tell you from what I'm reading what they actually do, and then we'll get into their bylaws. And this is just so fucking absolutely crazy, all right? The AAMVA's jurisdiction members are comprised of the 50 United States, District of Columbia, 5 U.S. territories, 10 Canadian provinces, and 3 Canadian territories, and the agencies within those jurisdictions who administer and enforce motor vehicle laws, okay? So again, it's the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. However, they're also in 10 Canadian provinces and 3 Canadian territories, and also in Mexico. Now, I'm just going through their website, and it is absolutely blowing me away. The AAMVA members, again, that's the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, handles driver's license, vehicle registration, and titling, and roadway law enforcement. AAMVA is organized into 4 regions to facilitate the sharing of geographic priorities. See the list of jurisdictions that fall within each region below. Now, as I read this to you, you're just going to think, well, you know, Derek, it's the law. No. This is so much more than what is actual law. And you have to remember what they're actually governing is commerce. But when you read who is involved in this, it'll blow your mind. Benefits: jurisdictional membership in the AAMVA, and again, that's the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, okay? The benefits are as follows: access to our online membership, online directory, complimentary subscription to AAMVA's award-winning Move magazine, complimentary subscription to the AAMVA's membership-only weekly e-news, TWIR, the Week in Review, and regional news. It just goes on and on and on. But let me tell you who the four jurisdictions are here. Jurisdiction 1, Connecticut, Delaware, District of Columbia, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, and Labrador, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Pennsylvania, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Rhode Island, and Vermont. That's number 1. That's the first jurisdiction. Number 2, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, Virginia Islands, West Virginia, and Puerto Rico. That's number 2. Number 3, the third jurisdiction: Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Manitoba, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. That's the third one. The fourth one, all right, pay attention. This is the AAMVA, the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, okay? Number 4, the fourth jurisdiction: Alaska, Alberta, America Samoa, Arizona, British Columbia, California, Colorado, Guam, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Northern Mariana Islands, Northwest Territories, Nunavut, Oregon, Saskatchewan, Utah, Washington, Wyoming, and the Yukon territories. Now, I've just explained to you their private association membership, American Association of Motor Vehicles Administrators. Now I'm going to show you their bylaws. Now remember, anything that has bylaws is a fucking corporation, all right? Whether it be a nonprofit organization or for-profit corporate organization, this American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators is in fact a nonprofit, non-governmental organization. And they are the ones that the DMV is operating through, which just blows my fucking mind. Check this out. American Association of Motor Vehicles Administrators bylaws, Article 1, name. The name of this organization is an American Association of Motor Vehicles Administrators, AAMVA, or the association. Article 2, membership. Section 1, membership jurisdiction, good standing, authorized participation. A, the members' jurisdiction of the association member jurisdiction shall include each state of the United States, American Samoa, District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, United States Virgin Islands, each province and territory of Canada, and such additional jurisdictions as may be approved by the member jurisdiction at the annual membership meeting. B, a member jurisdiction shall be considered in good standing if it is not delinquent in paying dues required to be paid in accordance with these bylaws. Okay? So it means that the DMV is paying dues to be part of this membership association. Remember, the DMV goes into a cooperative agreement with the DMV to reap the benefits of people being fleeced for driver's license, registration, proof of insurance, all that shit. Let's move on here. Section 2, voting. Only member jurisdiction in good standing shall be entitled to vote at all annual membership meetings. Each member jurisdiction eligible to vote shall have one vote prior to each annual membership meeting. Each member jurisdiction eligible to vote shall designate in writing the individual who shall be authorized to vote on behalf of such member jurisdiction at the annual membership meeting. 3. Section 3, governmental members. The board of directors may elect departments and agencies of the United States, Canada, and Mexican federal governments and state and local governmental units of any of the foregoing governmental members in accordance with membership criteria established by the board of directors from time to time. Governmental members shall have such privileges and obligations, not including eligibility to vote at meetings of the association, as the board of directors shall determine. Section 4, associated members. The board of directors of the association may elect individuals and businesses or other organizations as associated members in accordance with membership criteria established by the board of directors of the association from time to time. Associate members shall have such privileges and obligations, not including eligibility to vote at meetings of the association, as the board of directors of the association shall determine. Article 3, regions of the association. The association shall be divided into 4 regions. The activities of the AAMVA regions shall be conducted through affiliated regional corporations in accordance with their respective articles of incorporation and bylaws. The region shall consist of the following member jurisdictions. 1, Connecticut, Delaware, District of Columbia, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Brunswick, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Newfoundland, and Labrador, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Pennsylvania, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Number 2 is Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, Oklahoma, Puerto Rico, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, United States Virgin Islands, Virginia, and West Virginia. 3. Region 3 is Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Manitoba, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, South Dakota, and Wisconsin. And the 4th region is Alaska, Alberta, American Samoa, Arizona, British Columbia, California, Colorado, Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, Guam, Hawaii, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, New Mexico, Northwest Territories, Novat, Oregon, Saskatchewan, Utah, Washington, Wyoming, and the Yukon. Do you understand what I'm reading to you guys, ladies and gentlemen? This shit should blow your fucking mind. This is a private, non-profit, non-government organization that has put in place provisions for which your state can engage in entering into contract with these people to force you to get license plate, registration, proof of insurance, all this bullshit to enforce traffic laws, okay? Article 4, Officers. Section 1, Officers. The officers of the association shall include the chair of the board, first vice chair, second vice chair, secretary, president and chief executive officer, and treasurer. The chief of the board, the first vice chair, the second vice chair, and the secretary shall be elected in the member's jurisdiction at the annual membership meeting. The chair of the board shall appoint as treasurer a person who possesses the nature and extent of experience required to qualify as a financial expert, as such terms is defined in the charter for the Finance, Investment, and Audit Committee. The president and the chief executive officer shall be selected and appointed by the board of directors. Section 2, Terms of Office. The chair, first vice chair, second vice chair, and secretary shall hold office for 1 year or until their successor have been elected. The term of the treasurer shall be 1 year or until a successor has been appointed. The treasurer shall be eligible for reappointment. The term of president and chief executive officer shall be determined by the board of directors. Oh, wow. What do I want to get into here? Duties of the officers. Okay. All right. So this is just their bylaws. Not that big of a deal. Let's go back for a second. I want to just show you guys something in this fucking rat trap menagerie of horseshit. So now we know what they are. Okay. They're basically a private member association. They're a nonprofit, non-government organization who is contracting with the DMV and implementing quote-unquote legislation. Let's see here, because they got policies over here. Legislative and regulatory alerts, federal legislation, model legislation. Okay. AAMVA tracks federal legislation that affects our members' businesses. We send out regular legislative and regulatory alerts to keep members informed and up to date. In this section, you can also find a link to an external website that maintains current and pending legislation. We also provide members with in-depth analysis of select legislation as well as model legislation on key topics to assist members' legislative efforts. View our legislation. Hold on, that's not what I wanted to get into. I want to get into one of these that really will show you who these motherfuckers are. Let me just find it. Rules and regulations. Maybe this one's it. As I was going through this website, I was just blown away by this shit. Where's it at? Comments on proposed regulation. Here's court cases. So on this website, they have court cases. Now remember, this is who you're really entering into contract with when you get registration, all this shit. It's not the state, it's these motherfuckers. Newborough Heights versus Ohio. Ohio Supreme Court upholds slashing state funding for cities collecting traffic camera fines. Washington v. Frazier, 2022. Washington Supreme Court decides drivers can receive a DUI after marijuana use. NFIB v. OSHA, 2022. The U.S. Supreme Court strikes down OSHA vaccination mandate for businesses with 100-plus employees. City of Tahalacock, must be in Canada, versus Bond Rivas Villages versus 2021. The Supreme Court upholds qualified immunity doctrine. New Jersey versus Boston, 2021. Police cannot ask for a passenger's identification during routine traffic stops without grounds. New Jersey versus Carter, New Jersey versus Raman Rosado, 2021. New Jersey Supreme Court ruled that police cannot stop vehicles for partially obscured license plates. I mean, just the shit that they got on here will blow your mind. Executive orders. Let's see what the executive orders are. The executive orders of the president issue executive actions to guide federal agencies and department heads. Executive actions with an impact to the motor vehicle and law enforcement community can be found below. Executive order on advancing effective, accountable policing and criminal justice practices in enhanced public trust and public safety. President Executive Order on advancing effectiveness, accountable policing, and criminal justice practices to enhance public trust and public safety. Executive Order on transforming federal customer experience and service delivery to rebuild trust in government. Executive Order on strengthening American leadership in clean cars and trucks. Executive Order on improving the national cybersecurity. That's not quite what I was looking for. Hold on. We'll find it. Maybe it's in policies and positions. Here we go. All right. So, again, this is the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. And people have been telling me to come check this out for a while because I was going through a case where they were trying to charge me a tax for a used vehicle that had been taxed multiple times over, and I was telling them they could fuck off because I'm not paying them a fucking thing, right? Okay? AAMVA policy defined member-driven interpretation or views on specific issues within the motor vehicle and law enforcement membership community. Adopted policies are designed as guidelines for members to use in comparing departmental and administrative procedures, for staff to use in program planning, and for making determinations on AAMVA consensus. Adopted policies serve as the official position of AAMVA and convey the general sentiments of the organization as a community. Although not all policies are supported by every AAMVA membership jurisdiction, they don't represent a consensus opinion. They do represent a consensus opinion on state and provincial officials charged with the responsibility for administrating the motor vehicle law enforcement, traffic safety, and highway safety law. Remember, guys, this is a non-profit fucking organization that is a non-governmental entity that has created this shit, okay? You are not bound to participate with these fucking whack-a-moles. These sons of bitches, these fucking hoodwinking, scandalous pieces of shit. The AAMVA policy process serves as a mechanism for the development of member-driven stances on issues of importance facing the motor vehicle community. Remember, motor vehicle is something that's engaged in commerce. You're not operating a motor vehicle to go to and from your fucking house or to and from work, from home, or blah, blah, blah. All right? The motor vehicle code is for vehicles engaged in commerce to keep the highways, freeways, and byways safe for everybody else that travels on them. An effective policy process is essential in coordinating efforts and standardizing responses through member engagement. The defined process is carried by the approval of the AAMVA Board of Directors. Again, this Board of Directors is a private nonprofit organization that is distinct and single and separate from the government, okay? Although they do have government contractors that participate with them. The purpose of this process is to enlarge census in the development of a unified and therefore strengthened position on issues facing the AAMVA membership. To view policy positions by discipline or topic, please visit our search result page. Policy process. Each jurisdiction is responsible for naming a dedicated policy voting delegate. The policy voting delegate shall represent the interest of the entire jurisdiction for purposes of casting the single policy vote for that jurisdiction. 2, convey the appropriate information to any additional parties in the state. 3, notify AAMVA of any changes in voting representation. Upon introduction of the policies by the jurisdiction in good standing, the policy will be assigned to the AAMVA committee with primary jurisdiction over the issue. A simple majority of votes by the committee shall be considered sufficient to pass the policy. Upon passage, the policy shall be referred to the AAMVA Board of Directors. A simple majority of votes by the AAMVA Board of Directors shall be considered to pass the policy. Upon passage, the policy will be routed to the designated voting representatives in each of the AAMVA member jurisdiction in good standing. This distribution will coincide with the opening of the policy ballot. Remember, again, the AAMVA is a private, nonprofit, non-governmental organization. What the fuck are they doing in passing these provisions for the road? The policy will remain open for 30 days, whereby a simple majority shall be considered sufficient to pass the policy. Votes not returned or transmitted within 30 days shall not be counted in the vote tally. Upon passage by a simple majority of the AAMVA membership, I mean, these guys aren't government. They're not legislator. They're not body politic. They're not your fucking congressmen. They're not your governors. They're not your senators. They're not your fucking legislators. In good standing, the passed policy shall be published as an AAMVA policy position. Policies deemed unfavorable at any time in the review process must be returned to submitting party with clarification. If the ballot is determined to contain time-sensitive information, any and all steps may be satisfied through electronic or telephonic communications and means. Now, let's scroll down here to the bottom of this. So I wanted to find out kind of how much fucking power these fucking pieces of shit presume and assume to have. Let me just show you something. I go to Appendix G, Acceptable Identification Documents List. Now just hear me out on this. This is fucking crazy. All right, remember, this is the AAMVA, American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. Any person applying for a new or duplicated driver's license or identification card is required to submit one of the primary or secondary documents from the following list. A primary document must contain the full name and date of birth and must be verified, i.e., you must be able to contact the issuing agency to determine authenticity of said document. Primary documents. Photo driver's license cannot be expired more than 1 year. State issued photo ID card cannot be expired more than 1 year. Certified copy of driver's license or ID card, DL or ID, cannot be expired more than 1 year. 4. Certificate of birth, U.S. or Canada issued, must be original or certified copy, have a raised seal, and be issued by the Bureau of Vital Statistics or State Board of Health. Hospital-issued certificates are not acceptable. Now, birth certificate right on the motherfucker says that it is not to be used as a form for identification. Secondly, your social security card and all that stuff and birth certificate as well say that these are very valuable documents and you are not to give them to fucking anybody for any fucking reason. All right. So who are these people that the American Association of Motor Vehicles Administrators, who happen to run Canada and Mexico's licensing procedures, who are a non-profit, non-government organization who the states enter into contract with? 5. INS documents also follows as follows. Certificate of Naturalization, Certificate of Citizenship, Northern Mariana Card, American Indian Card, U.S. Citizen Identification Card, Resident Alien Card, Temporary Resident Identification, Non-Resident Alien Canadian Border Crossing Card, Record of Arrival and Departure, Record of Arrival and Departure with attached photo stamp, processed for 1-551 stamp, permanent resident reentry permit, refugee travel documents, record of arrival and departure in a certificate of identity, I-94, employment authorization card, I-688A, I-688B, I-766, record of arrival and departure stamped refugee, parolee, or asylee, I-94. I mean, this shit's just fucking insane when you start looking at this. School IDs, social security cards, secondary documents. All primary documents were what I read up above, and there's a long list of them. I'm not going to go through them all. But, I mean, these people, again, nonprofit, they're private, they are not government, although they're contracted with the government, or the government has contracted with them for fleecing and extorting people so they can get money for something that otherwise is a right for you to do. All right. So here's a secondary document. All primary documents, 2, Bureau of Indian Affairs card, driver's license, court order that does not contain the applicant's date of birth, employee ID card, foreign birth certificate, health insurance, IRS statements, marriage certificate, medical records, military dependent ID, military discharge separation papers. This is what the fucking courts are enforcing when you get a traffic violation. You entered into contracts with these fuckheads, and they're enforcing that contract, and they're getting paid for enforcing that contract. Let's see here. This one says 1 license, 1 driver, control record. And when we open it up, it says, again, this is for the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administration's Appendix F. 1 license, 1 driver control record, format and content. The driver control record, DCR, shall be maintained by the jurisdiction of record, JOR, in the format described in the AAMVA Net Code, Dictionary ACD, and the Interprovincial Record Exchange, IRE, documentation which have been adopted by the Driver's Licensing and Control Committee of the AAMVA and the Driver and Vehicle Committee of the CCMTA and CCATM. Generally, the required data includes, but is not limited to, the following: name, address, and other identifying information about the driver, a license history including dates when licenses were issued and withdrawn and jurisdictions where those actions occurred in, a history of collision information, a list of convictions, and a list of withdrawal actions, including license suspension and administrative actions. Wow. These people are something fucking special, guys. I hope you're paying attention to what I'm telling you here. You are not contracting with the DMV. Ladies and gentlemen, you are contracting with the American Association of Motor Vehicles Administration, who has allowed the DMV to come up underneath them. The DMV makes a private cooperative agreement with the state to enforce the motor vehicle code that you have subjected yourself to because you are now part of the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. That right there, where you're getting your driver's license and all that shit, has nothing to do with the state and everything to do with the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. Let's see here. Hold on. Policy position on certificate of origin. This is an interesting one. This was in 2014 by the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, policy position on certificates of origin. Remember I told you, you don't own your automobile unless you actually have the certificate of origin? Well, hold on a second. It is the policy of the AAMVA that a certificate of origin, CO, be required for conveying ownership of all new vehicles. Well, what do you think the Secretary of State does? They collect them MCOs and MSOs, and they send them to the AAMVA. All right? The CO should be uniform in all jurisdictions, and when printed, conform to the standards set forth in Appendix B. AAMVA also urges manufacturers of motive and non-motive powered vehicles to adopt a standard machine readable certificate of origin utilizing the appropriate American National Standard Institution ANSI standard that provides the criteria for character, set, and print quality for optical character recognition. AAMVA recommends that the vendors of the Uniform Certificate of Origin be instructed that applicants who wish to purchase uniform CO documents must furnish verification from the AAMVA member jurisdiction that the applicant is recognized as a bona fide manufacturer or distributor before the order can be accepted. In the interest of reducing fraud and vehicle theft, it is the policy of the AAMVA that manufacturers use standardized codes when transmitting CO data electronically. In accordance with the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System specifications, AAMVA transmission of all CO data, special emphasis should be placed on vehicles make, series, model, body type, and major and minor colors. AAMVA supports the cooperation of manufacturers, the Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and if necessary, U.S. Congress to promote this policy. Again, the American Association of Motor Vehicles Administration is a private, non-profit, non-governmental organization, ladies and gentlemen. What the fuck are they doing creating all these policies and enforcing them? And why is the government in bed with them? Furthermore, all right. Now, we all know under Title 28, 3002, 15A, that the federal government is a corporation. That explains Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, the outer minor lying islands, Guam, Samoa, Puerto Rico, all that good fun shit, right? But they're single-handedly, without fully disclosing to you, stealing your private fucking property under the guise that you have to register with them. Check this shit out. Policy position of all driver pointer systems. Policy position, admissibility of evidence of non-use of safety belt mitigation. Policy position on acceptable identification documents. Let's just see what this is. This was 2/15/2013. All right. It's talking about what is acceptable identification. Any applicant for an original or initial driver's license or identification card shall be required to submit at least one of the primary documents containing the applicant's verifiable full name and date of birth. All right. So the DMV didn't come up with all this shit. The state didn't come up with all this shit. These motherfuckers came up with all this shit. They found a way. I guarantee you this is a bunch of lawyers and fucking judges that came up with essentially a private membership association or nonprofit organization to unjustly enrich themselves by enforcing policies that otherwise wouldn't apply to you. Because remember, the states, along with the federal government, cannot force you to get a license. It cannot convert a right into a privilege and issue a fucking license for it and charge a fee. All right. Otherwise, you have the right to engage in it with impunity. All right. Policy position on AAMVA customer service commitment. The Motor Vehicle Agency of member jurisdiction are committed to responding to customers' needs in an efficient, courteous, and professional manner. They're not talking about you, ladies and gentlemen. They're talking about their business deeds and dealings with the government and or other agencies. They're not talking about you being a customer. You're just a fucking slave who didn't read the fucking fine print. They're talking about their business buddies, all right? It is the position of the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, AAMVA, who also operates in Canada and Mexico, that all jurisdictional members developed customer service standards that focus on improving customer satisfaction, enhancing service delivery standards, and employment empowerment. AAMVA fully supports the developments of training programs designed to keep employees of motor vehicle agencies apprised of new programs, technologies, policies, procedures, and laws that impact the delivery of services to the motoring public. It is further the position of the AAMVA that all motor vehicle agencies coordinate and develop user-friendly technologies, educational materials, and outreach programs that enhance customer service deliveries through other means. AAMVA seeks to promote the concept that motor vehicle agencies strive to promote customer service principles, information sharing about customer service enhancements, and encourage all member jurisdictions to recognize their employees who deliver excellent service to their internal and external customers. Okay, to serve and protect the AAMVA, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't to serve and protect you. It's to serve and protect their interests. Now, hold on. There's one in here about traffic tickets. I want to pull it up. Policy position on all driver pointer systems, policy position, alternative license plate standards, policy position on automated traffic enforcement, policy positions on certificate of origins, charge reductions, commercial motor carrier safety, commercial motor carrier safety alliance, commercial vehicle declared gross weight, comprehensive highway safety, cooperation with legislators. Look, they got let's read this. This was in 1990. the policy position on cooperation with legislators. The AA, which are all lawyers, by the way, just like I suspected, the lawyers are in on this shit. AAMVA believes that legislators should be kept informed about the goals and objectives of the Motor Vehicle Agency, as well as the goals and objectives of the AAMVA, a nonprofit, non-governmental organization. The association quarterly invites members of the legislative body of its member jurisdiction to attend AAMVA regional and annual international conferences. It further urges such legislators to make part in our deliberation and to cooperate in our efforts to secure uniform motor vehicle and traffic laws, needed reciprocity, authority, and other matters necessary to better service the monitoring public. AAMVA also urges the formation of regional groups to promote closer working relationships and understandings between motor vehicle and traffic law enforcement officials and members of the legislature. All right, let's see what else they're involved in. Cooperation with agencies and organizations. Let's see what this one says. This was done in 1990. Policy positions on cooperation with other agencies and organizations. What other agencies are they talking about? I'll guarantee you that's the sheriff and the police department, state patrol, game and parks. All right. AAMVA appreciates and values the assistance of agencies and public information media engaged in conducting programs designed to protect motorists and pedestrians. Oh, don't they make that sound oh so fucking nice? As well as facilitate the movement of vehicles with safety and convenience. The association urges all member jurisdictions and the staffs of their representative agencies to fully cooperate with these agencies and organizations. The AAMVA recognizes the value of the public support groups in traffic safety programs and considers it a duty of the state and provincial leaders to take the initiative in the establishment of such groups, as well as to stimulate the interest and activity existing in our groups. These are all private. This is all private shit. Position on crash prevention, data and information exchange, data driver approach to crime and traffic safety, driver's education, driver's license compact, driver's license suspension, drivers under the influence of alcohol and drugs, position on exchange of driver's records, position on financial recognition, position on federal motorist carrier safety legislation, position on federally owned vehicles, position on federally owned vehicles certificate of release, position on general driver's license policies, position on general information technologies, position on law enforcement policies. Let's see what the law enforcement policies is. This was enacted in 2018. Policies position on general law enforcement policies. AAMVA, again, the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, recommends that member jurisdictions continuously review their highway safety programs to ensure a uniform policy on enforcement and crash investigation, which includes continued aggressive and effective enforcement of all traffic laws, deployment of enforcement personnel using a data-driven approach to crime and traffic safety, DDACTS model, to patrol identified high crash carryods, C-related DDACTS policy, combining enforcement efforts with education and effective driver improvement programs, adoption of the U.S. DOT Minimum Model Uniform Crash Criteria, MMUCC 5th edition. Let's see what else these little fuckers got their hands in. Graduated driver's license system, gray market vehicle model year determination, position on image exchange, position on inspection, position on interdisciplinary cooperation. Let's see what that is. That was enacted in 1995 for everybody that's participating in the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. Policy position on interdisciplinary cooperation. AAMVA supports and encourages the cooperation and exchange of information among motor vehicle administrators, law enforcement officials, highway engineers, revenue officials, and other related agencies in the interest of the highway safety. Such cooperation efforts should include some of the following activities: forums at a state, provincial, and local levels for the exchange of information and ideas relating to improved highway safety through roadway design, traffic flow, and control measures and enforcement strategies. 2, efforts to work for standardization of data elements, definitions, and reporting for data collected at a national and international level and used by all jurisdictions. And 3, participation with national and international traffic safety organizations in the development of national and international traffic safety goals. They always make shit sound so polite, don't they? Position on issuance of identification cards, position on laser radar detectors and cell phone applications. Let's see what this says. Yeah, I wish I would have read this before my trial. This is funny. All right. Policy position on laser and radar detectors and cell phone application apps. AAMVA, again, that's the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, opposes the manufacture and sale of electronic devices used by individuals in motor vehicles to detect the presence of jam the signal from speed measuring equipment in use by law enforcement. Of course they would, because every time the law enforcement issues one of those securities, the AAMVA gets a piece of that fucking pie. So of course they're talking to your legislators about fucking making sure that that kind of equipment isn't generally accessible by private individuals. The AAMVA also opposes the development and use of cell phone apps that allow individuals to determine specific location where law enforcement officers are working. AAMVA supports concurrent jurisdiction between federal and state agencies to enforce the enforcement of laws that prohibit manufacturers and sale of such devices and apps. Now remember, back in the day, a couple years back, before 2019, there actually was an app that if you were on it, all your friends that were traveling down the highway would tell you where the cops were. They would just touch a button on their phone, and it would indicate where the cop was sitting or whatever and what direction he was facing. Now, you notice after 2019, that app became obsolete. It was made no longer in force and effect. Well, here's why. Because the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, we were cutting into their fucking payday, ladies and gentlemen, by identifying where cops were sitting on the side of the road to enforce the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators enforcement policies. All right, so they took the position in 2019 to make it so no manufacturer could manufacture a device that would jam the laser or signal or help a traveler or motor vehicle operator detect the presence of law enforcement on the side of the road running radar. Now, how is it these motherfuckers have that much power that they can get a hold of a legislator and say, hey, we would like this implemented? Just think about that for a second. Think about that. That's because the legislator's in on it. These people are getting paid by fleecing us. All right. Policy position on leased vehicles, policy position on license plates. Let's see what they say on, this was done in 2013, 12/12/2013, so December 12, 2013. Policy position on license plates. Again, this is an American Association of Motor Vehicle Administration. They are a private, non-profit, non-governmental organization who contracts or who the government contracts with, okay? And not just in the United States of America, but Canada, 10 provinces in Canada, and like 3 territories, and then includes Mexico as well. Let's look at this. Policy position on license plates. License plates serve one common purpose: to identify motor vehicles across jurisdictions. Hold on. Across jurisdictions, they also identify vehicle registration and demonstrate compliance with the motor vehicle registration laws. Again, these motor vehicle registration laws are enacted or put in place by the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administration, and they're enforced by the DMV. Well, they're enforced by local law enforcement, okay, who are contracting with these motherfuckers, okay? And again, it's the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administration, and then it's a huge umbrella nonprofit organization who the DMV is contracting with, and then the DMV goes into private cooperative agreements with the state for enforcement. Through the use of bright reflective surface license plates contribute to highway safety and law enforcement efforts by making the vehicle more visible. AAMVA supports the horizontal display of a front and rear plate and the uniform manufacture and design of the plate to increase the effective and efficient identification of the plates. Jurisdictions are encouraged to adopt the best practice identified in the AAMVA's License Plate Reader Program Best Practice Guide. Okay, so this is the AAMVA's. You want to know where all these license plate readers came from? These aren't the gun-toting morons ideas with an IQ of fucking 70. It's this motherfucking organization right here. Okay, that you entered into a contract with. You need to stop your contract with these fucks, because they're not enforcing the law. They're enforcing private policy that you contracted on with. The use of the common characteristics and predictable design on license plates will enhance reliability, usability, and connection to vehicle registration records. It will also support law enforcement efforts and highway safety. You want to know why it'll support law enforcement efforts and highway safety? Because they're trained to say, well, where are you coming from? Your plate isn't from this state, and the state you're coming from is known to be a high drug trafficking state. So now we got to pull you out of your vehicle. We got reasonable suspicion, probable cause. You know, if you didn't have that fucking plate on there, chances are you wouldn't be pulled over. You want to know why? Because most people don't break the fucking rules of the road. Most people obey the signs. But when you got a plate from Colorado and you happen to be in Nebraska, guess what? Even if you're obeying all the rules, they're still going to stop you because, well, that plate indicates that you come from an area that's a high drug trafficking source. And so naturally we have an inclination to stop you. So we're going to pull you over even if you're not breaking the law. We're going to make something up. We're going to say your blinker wasn't working. You got a tail light out, all this shit. Because they're always trained to escalate to either a DUI or a drug interdiction traffic stop, okay? They're not stopping you for simple shit. They're always trained to escalate, okay? They always tell people after 9 o'clock at night, those are the only two reasons you're stopping people. To find out whether they're under the influence of alcohol or to find out whether or not they're mules. And may increase certain revenue collection. Oh, look, they're even so bold to just tell you why the license plate is needed. And may increase certain revenue collection, which is dependent upon license plate identification. Of course it is, because just like I explained to you just a moment ago, if you're coming from fucking Florida and you're passing through Indiana, they're going to say that, you know, Florida is a high trafficking area for drugs, and now we have reasonable suspicion to believe that you are transporting narcotics from Florida to Indiana. But if you didn't have that identification plate, the only thing they'd be able to do is look at you and go, well, I don't know whether he's from Indiana or not. He's not speeding. He's not breaking the law. There's no reason to follow him. But because you have a plate, it's going to help, and they even say it right here, and may increase certain revenue collection. How about that? Such as toll collection and parking regulations. All right, let's see what else. That was license plate. Position on license plate should not be obscured. Position on license plates, position on licensings of business engaged in motor vehicle related activities. Position on medical reporting. Position on model year in title registration records. Let's see what they got to say about that. That was in 2016, 9/23/2016. Position on model year in title registration records. Let's see what these scumbags are fucking doing behind the scenes here. All right. Again, this is the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. It is not the DMV, in fact, that you're contracting with. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, which is a private non-profit organization that is non-governmental, and somehow they're meeting with your legislators and enforcing this shit. AAMVA recommends that effective with the 1983 model year jurisdiction title or registration procedure for passenger cars, trucks, and motorcycles, other than multi-stag manufactured vehicles such as motorhomes, should include an electronic comparison using a VIN decoder product of the caption model year with the model year code contained in the vehicle identification number as shown on the certificate of origin, new vehicle information statement, bill of sale, or dealer report of sale. The association further recommends that if the caption model year in the documents or electronic records differ from the model year code in the VIN, the title or registration of the vehicle should be withheld until the document or electronic records are corrected, as may be provided for by the law or regulations of the jurisdiction. Well, fuck you guys. I don't want to be a part of your association. This is the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. All right. Again, they're private, non-profit, non-government organization, and they are somehow running Canada, Mexico, and all of the United States, including the District of Columbia, the Mariana Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, and everything. And you think for a second that the judges and the fucking lawyers aren't behind this, and they're not profiting handsomely through the DMV and the state enforcing this shit? Now it makes a lot more sense why the prosecuting attorney, who happens to be a lawyer, a member of the Bar Association for the state, who's in cahoots with the American Bar Association, who has been deemed to be a communist party hell-bent on destroying the Constitution and the American way of life and leading us into communism, is enforcing this shit. Policy position on non-resident vehicle dealer license, policy position on non-resident violators compact. Anyway, I just want to share this with you guys. I think it is absolutely fucking crazy. Hold on, let me go forward one. Let's see here. Membership type and benefits. Jurisdiction membership. Membership type and benefits. Let's see what the membership type and benefits are. American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, membership type and benefits, AAMVA's membership is chartered by our bylaws. Jurisdiction members are U.S. states and territories and Canadian provinces, of which there are 69 total and geographically designated in 4 regions. Associated members include local government and local law enforcement agencies. There you go. Remember, I told you guys to go out and get all their fucking corporate charters, because in the local police, like your local town police officers, by the way, their charter states in the first paragraph or 3 paragraphs that they must be in compliance with the Constitution for the state that they're operating in. Okay. So here we've got that all these associate members are in fact government and local enforcement agencies in bed with a nonprofit private corporation or nonprofit private corporation, non-governmental entity who also operates in Canada and Mexico. Okay. Associate members include local government and local law enforcement agencies, nonprofit and associations, and companies and organizations whose missions align with ours, which is to steal from people. See below to find out more about jurisdiction membership and association membership, including the benefit of membership, to find contact information for our members and learn about the companies who have products for the motor vehicle community. Visit our membership only directory. Jurisdiction membership. Jurisdiction membership are comprised of the 50 states. Yeah, we already went through that. Associated membership. Associated membership is comprised of the association's non-for-profit organization, educational institutions, Indian nations, and governments other than. So anyway, if you guys want to go check this stuff out, I'll post the website above, and I always go right to the bottom of the website page because that's where all the good shit's at. But they're telling you who they are and who they're contracted with and who's contracted with them. Let's see here. Oh, some bitch. Where did I do that? Oh, you scallywag. Let's see. Member directory. Our members-only directory provides members with the ability to connect with one another. So here's where they're selling your information jointly to other states and everything else. You can search the directory to find out jurisdiction and associate members by searching for people and organizations. You can also, when was any of this given to you for information when you signed up for a driver's license, that they would be sharing your information with 148 different nations through Interpol? When was any of this fucking discussed with you? That you'd be waiving your rights to join a private member association and have to succumb to their fucking edicts and rules and regulations that aren't even through fucking legislation? You can also search for groups, boards, committees, subcommittees, and working groups and their current rosters Since access to our directory is for members only benefit, a website account is required for access. Please log in prior to accessing the directory. Notice the information in the members only directory is confidential. Oh, imagine that. It's only for law enforcement and local government agencies, and is provided only for access and use by AAMVA members. The information contained in the directory may be used only for professional contact and networking purposes relating to jurisdictional activities in driver licensing and identification, motor vehicle registration and titling, and law enforcement, disclosure, transfer, duplication, reproduction, or retention of all or any portion of the information in the member directory for solicitation, commercial activities, fax or email, broadcast, telemarketing, surveys, or direct mail purposes is strictly prohibited. If you have questions or need assistance with your website account and password, please contact us. So here's exactly where law enforcement is getting all your information from other states and everybody else, is through this AAMVA private association, nonprofit organization membership that is not government, that has contracted with the government through subsidiary corporations like the Department of Motor Vehicles or BMV, DMV, whatever it is in your state, American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. There it is right there. There it is. So let's see what else they got in here for us. Program support. Let's see what they got in the program support. American Association of Motor Vehicle Administration program support. To support AAMVA members in their business, we provide the opportunity to visit and learn from our fellow jurisdiction through a grant sponsored by AAMVA. I wonder where they get the grant money from, all those citations that are issued. In addition, our Automated Vehicle AV Technical Assistance Program offers member association to enhance understanding of automated vehicle technology and to help members develop a strategy to address AV testing and development. These are jurisdiction member only benefits. These are scumbags. Scumbags. Program support, jurisdiction to jurisdiction learning, VISTA, automated vehicle technology assistance, technical assistance, surveys and data, award programs. Let's see what they're awarding the law enforcement with for participating in this fucking Ponzi scheme they got going on. American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators award programs. AAMVA's award program fosters a tradition of excellence in the motor vehicle and law enforcement community by honoring individuals, teams, and organizations who have committed their time and resources to safety and security initiatives, outstanding customer service, and public affairs and consumer educational program throughout North America. Each year, AAMVA receives numerous outstanding submissions in each category, and through a rigorous judging process, selects those that are exemplary. Awards are presented at the regional conference and at our annual international conference. Eligibility for awards open to all AAMVA jurisdiction members in good standing, with the exception of a Lifetime Achievement in Highway Safety Awards. The content of the submission must have been completed during AAMVA's previous full fiscal year. For example, submission for 2022 awards must have been conducted, produced, implemented, and or developed in fiscal year 2021 between October 1st, 2020 and September 30th, 2021. If an entry won an award in a previous year, it cannot be resubmitted unless it has substantive upgrades or developments from the original submission. Yeah, these people are something fucking special. Safety awards, service awards, security awards, public affairs and consumer education awards, international driver exam certificates awards, Chair's Award of Excellence and Achievement. Yeah, I would encourage all of you guys to go look at this shit. Technologies, system. Let's see what system says. The American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators System, AAMVA, develops and maintains many information systems that facilitate the electronic exchange of drivers, vehicle, and identity information between organizations. AAMVA application system fall into these categories. Driver's license systems. These systems provide the ability to locate and share driver's records, track commercial driver's license, CDL skill testing, and detect fraud. Vehicle system. These systems obtain and share vehicle title information, registration, and liens. Verification system. These systems verify driver's license, state-issued identification cards, passport information, social security numbers, lawful status, and vital events. All AAMVA applications follow strict privacy guidelines and are designed to adhere to an online privacy policy that protects the information gathered from its website visitors. Please review our privacy policy. Driver's license system, vehicle system, verification system. This shit is just fucking insane, guys. Let's see. Driver's license system. Let's see this. American Association of Motor Vehicles Administrator Driver's License System. AAMVA driver's license system facilitates the electronic exchange of driver's license information, provide the ability to locate and share commercial and non-commercial driver's records, track commercial driver's license, CDL skills testing, and defects. Nationwide electronic system that enables state driver's license agencies to ensure that each commercial driver has only one valid driver's license and one complete driving record. How many of you were informed that when you got a driver's license, you were going to be subjected to the AAMVA's record keeping, American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, who also keeps track of Canada and Mexico? Web-based total that provides a consistent means for tracking the scheduling and entry of test results for commercial skills tests by jurisdiction and third-party examiners, programmed to develop the DIA. Okay, I see what I'm doing. DIAE, programmed to develop image capture recognition. Notice how they use the word capture because they're capturing your image. It's a term of war. Capture the flag. That's why when you tell them to stop using your image, they say, oh, we've already captured that though. Recognition and verification solution that meet jurisdiction needs with the focus on frontline staff and customer service. The PDPS system used to search the National Drivers Register, a repository of information on problem drivers provided by all U.S. state, maintained by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Rooster, ROOSTR, web application designed to support the regulations which provide the state that issued a commercial learner's permit to an individual must honor the commercial driver's license skill test results from another state. SR 2226. You want to know where your SR 22 insurance comes from, baby? Right here out of the fucking American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. That's where it comes from. Check this shit out. Here it is right here. This is their rules that they've implemented. And because you signed up to be part of their policies, you're being governed by their shit. Electronic application that automates SR22 and SR26 form filing to expedite and avoid delays in the communication of certification of future proof of financial responsibility to departments of the motor vehicle. All right. And you wonder why the judges are in on this, why they're helping them out? Because you entered into a contract with these fuckheads and you just are unaware of it. And these fucking judges know that you're entered into this contract and they're getting a fucking piece of the pie for being administrative clerks on behalf of this policy that you've entered into. S2S, service that allows a state to electronically verify with any other participating state whether an applicant holds a credential in any other state. Yeah, these slick dick motherfuckers. If I was you guys, I would get a hold of the American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators and tell them you are immediately canceling. They are to cease and desist using any of your private intellectual property for profit and gain, and that you want a full financial accounting on how much they're making off of your private intellectual information, for which you were not fully disclosed, that they would be selling your information between other entities and giving it to other people and other private for-profit corporations like the police department, sheriff's department, state patrol, DMV, to profit and gain from it. I would let them know immediately to cease and desist and to remove your information from their database. And that if any harm comes to you because they continue to use it, that they're 100% fucking liable for it. All right, anyway, above this, I will post this fucking website, and you guys can go look at this shit. And I wish I would have looked at it before. Law enforcement. Let's see what this says. Oh, I'm already in the law enforcement section. Hold on. Here it is. Law enforcement, AAMVA's vision of safe drivers, safe vehicles, secured identity, saving lives. Yeah, we all know that they don't have to save lives. We just witnessed that in Texas. Nice fucking try, dickheads. Is at a core of our law enforcement programs. AAMVA supports and encourages collaboration between states and provincial law enforcement and motor vehicle agencies as we work to improve highway and public safety and prevent fraud inside and outside our member agencies. Through the Law Enforcement Standing Committee and its related working groups, AAMVA members promote uniformity and consistency through the development of standards, model programs, and best practice. Holy fuck me running. Fraud, license plates, drunk driving, facial recognition, ignition interlock. So there's where your interlock device comes in when you get hammered for a DUI. It's part of the American Association of Motor Vehicles Administrators. That's why you get stuck with that. Suspended drivers and alternative reinstatement, emergency red line and response, distracted driving. There's where you're talking on your cell phone and everything you're able to get a ticket from because they're enforcing these motherfuckers' policies. Automated vehicles. Okay, so check this out. One of my buddies, they suspended his driver's license, okay, over child support. And he asked me what to do. And I said, look, dude, turn around, take your driver's license, and tell him that you are rescinding your signature on the original issued contract, that you're doing a revocation of power of attorney, and that you no longer wish to utilize their services. So he does this. He sends this off. A couple weeks later, he gets a piece of mail. And he goes, you're never going to believe this, dude. They suspended my license like a year ago, but I've still been driving, and I had it, and you know, because I needed a driver's license for a form of identification. And he goes, I did what you said. I sent it back with a revocation, rescinding all contracts, removing power of attorney, told them to cease and desist and to leave me the fuck alone. 2 weeks later, Derek, they sent me my driver's license completely reinstated back to me. Why did they do that? Because they want him to be part of this fucking American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators system. So they've got their meat hooks in him. That's why they sent that to him. I always wondered why. Now I know why. This is the affirmative right here. Because as soon as he did that, he removed himself from their private member association, from their nonprofit group, where he was being taxed and fleeced without representation, never understanding why. Now he knows. If he watches this, now he'll understand. American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators. I'm going to put this fucking email, or this website address above. I would encourage everybody to go rip this motherfucker apart, because they are telling you exactly what they're doing. Drivers, identity, vehicle, law enforcement. It's all right there in your fucking face. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm going to post this above this video. So give me a few minutes, because it'll take a few minutes to upload. I want you guys to all go look at this. This is the AAMVA, American Association of Motor Vehicle Administrators, okay? And this is who all your DMVs and BMVs are tied to. And then the DMV and the BMV enter into a cooperative agreement with the state for enforcement, okay? They enter into an agreement with the state so that you can be fleeced for violating these policies and procedures in the court for breach of contract, all right?